All right. Liz Roca from United Talent Agency, the better part of the Gonzalez family. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
The real talent broker in the Gonzalez family.
Yes, well, it depends on who you ask.
If you were representing Lewis, and let's say Lewis was some kind of famous, I don't know, reggaeton star, what would you recommend?
I don't think the words Lewis and reggaeton go in the same.
They don't go together.
In the same sentence.
But Lewis is a complicated fellow, but I'm glad that he was able to connect us and have you on today.
Yes, he is my brother from another mother.
There you go. So your entire career has always been in the event space. I'm assuming that you're a super detailed oriented person.
Correct.
What skill set do you need to have to be successful in this industry?
Patience and organization, because it is just a cluster of, information coming at you from different resources. So you kind of have to keep everything in check in order to be able to do your job properly. So that's the number one thing. Even, any assistant that I get, any intern, I'm like, you can learn the business.
Yeah.
You cannot learn to be organized and, proactive and just patient, because it will test your patience, this industry.
Oh, totally.
Which I love.
Which you
Disclaimer,
love.
which I love, but yeah.
Well, you were just earlier talking to me offline about it. I just need a little more patience. I want to wring somebody's neck.
Exactly.
But okay, so you were with the Miami Heat for a long time, correct?
Correct. So I started my career in this industry working for American Airlines Arena, which is the Heat group.
Yeah.
So it was the American Airlines Arena as a venue and the Miami Heat obviously as a team. We were all one, and I got hired as marketing manager for the events, any concerts, family shows that took place, and then working, with the Heat in tandem to help promote our events. And that was actually a funny story, and one that I've told often, and my boss at the time who hired me has told often, just because I think it's kind of a good piece of advice as far as being honest during interviews. So I go on a cold interview back in the day. I worked at the Miami Herald, actually.
Okay.
So I was looking in the classified ads, because that's how we used to find work. And there was a marketing manager position, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I just randomly applied. I think it was 3 months past. I didn't hear back. And this was 2000. Yeah, 2000. I think the venue had opened in 99, the new venue.
Yeah.
So I finally get a call. I get my interview. I get to my interview. A little bit of context before that. The venue was very raw at the time, and their architecture is a little bit different. Very, all exposed ceilings and concrete and whatnot. But the seats themselves, someone had the idea to create the flame.
Yeah.
So it was yellow, orange, red seats. Yeah. But a year later, those yellow seats were black, and they were just gross.
Yeah, it was gross.
People sitting on them. So I remember my husband and I always talking about it, I don't know, the venue, compared to other venues that you're used to, the traditional. This is now what it is, and it's beautiful, and we appreciate it. But back in the day, that was the first venue of its kind to have that aesthetics. So my husband and I were always talking about it, and the seats and whose idea was that, and they're dirty and whatever. So sure enough, I get the interview, going swimmingly, have, great rapport with, at the time, Eric Bressler, who later on became my boss. And then the last question, we get to it, and he's like, so what do you think about the venue? And I was like, well, so I'm kind of but I was honest, and I was like, the seats are dirty, and whose idea, and, the exposed, I get it, but it still looks unfinished. And then I realized that I was like, shit. So I'm like, well, but, the location, and it's on the water. So I'm backpedaling or whatever. So interview comes to an end. Thank you very much. On my way home, my husband calls me. He's like, how did it go? And I said, well, it was going great until, he's like, until what? I said, they asked me what I thought about the venue. And he's like, what did you say? Because he knows,
Yeah.
I was like, I was completely honest and told him. And he's like, well, at least you have a job. You're working at the Herald. It's not like you're out of work.
Exactly.
So I got home. Back in the day, we used to send thank you notes, on stationery.
I still do.
So I sent a thank you note, whatever. Didn't hear back for a couple months. Finally heard back. Gave me the job. Until this day, he's my mentor, my best friend.
Wow.
Anytime he gets an award, anytime I introduce him, he says a story. He's like, the only person, he said, I interviewed 6 people. The only person, we knew what the problems were. We literally replaced the seats a year later.
Yeah.
The only person who was honest about, the seats and what we knew was a problem with the venue was honest and didn't just say, oh, it was beautiful, was you. And the only person who sent a handwritten thank you note was you.
There you go.
So,
It's great advice for young people, because the follow-up, the old school stuff. I mean,
it still means something.
It still means something. I mean, one that it just blows my mind now. It's not only the follow-up thank you note, be on time, be punctual.
Basic stuff.
Basic stuff. I'm like, why do I even have to Like you didn't learn that in school,
Right.
I mean, but anyways, you're getting me going. So at the Miami Heat, were you in charge of just putting on events that were non-basketball related?
Correct. So any concert, like any tour, like, U2,
Yeah.
Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, when they stopped in Miami, they stopped at American Airlines Arena. So I handled the marketing, when they were in the building,
Yeah.
Helping a promoter, place ads, sometimes PR with the family shows, like
Yeah.
with Circus or Disney on Ice or WWE. They would send talent ahead of time. We'd schedule, PR, days for them. We worked with a team. They had what they called Media Day. So they would, we would make these scripts for the players to read, like, Disney on Ice is coming. Like,
Yeah.
Shaq was the best. Like, he just ran with it. There were certain players, you can tell it wasn't in their wheelhouse to do it.
Yeah. He's a natural.
But he is
And he loves
amazing.
it.
Or just all the venue signage.
Yeah.
When you come in backstage, make sure that artist feels welcomed.
Yeah.
They're very good at making that artist experience fulfilling. It's what sets apart sometimes one
Yeah.
venue from the other, because at the end of the day, they all look the same backstage. They're,
Right.
concrete walls, concrete, so we would do signage. We would find out what the artist liked, make sure we had Joe Stonecraft for them if it was in season or whatever, gifts, besides a standard jersey with their names on it, and honestly, I can tell you, because I've worked with, even though I've only worked at that venue, I attend a conference, the Event and Arena Marketing Conference, and I think everyone, in the recent years has stepped up their game, but we were really like the first of its kind to, kind of hone in on that and make sure that, artist experience was, at top notch.
So the artist wants to come back, right? So are you reaching out to the promoter and booking them, or are they booking, they're going, hey, I'm going to be in Orlando, I might as well come to Miami?
So the booking was done by our booker, VP of booking. And, basically it's twofold, because now I'm on the UTA side. So, there's routing issues involved, availability. A lot of these venues have, teams, basketball, hockey.
Right.
So you got to work around
Good point.
that. So it's honestly like a beautiful mind trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You have cities that you want to go in that make sense for the demographics of the artist.
Yeah.
Sexier cities than others. But, ultimately there's a problem solving issue that you have to, when it comes to like teams and scheduling and avails and whatnot.
Now you're on the other side now.
I'm on the, right. So now I'm on the agency side.
On the agency side, what do you do on the agency side?
So on the agency side, basically, we work with agents, our internal agents, and their artists, be it, we represent Bad Bunny, we represent Karol G. Just an array of artists in every genre. But I work not only with Latin, but basically all Latin.
Yeah.
And then, so the agent, routes the tour, whether it's in North America or Latin America, Europe. And then even though we have a London office who handles primarily the Europe, but sometimes, we get involved if it's a client that we've been working on. So the agent will route the tour, will let us know, hey, this is, this tour's coming down, meeting with management, what the expectations are. Sometimes there's a promoter involved, like a Live Nation, if it's a touring deal or AG. Sometimes it's me, working with 26 different promoters, which is always challenging. We set timelines. We create the artwork. Sometimes, they give it to us. Sometimes they'll give us like an image and a logo, and then we have to go to a third-party agency. We have different agencies that we work with, creative agencies, to come up with, all the social ads, the ad mat, what the look and the aesthetics of that tour is, what it's going to feel like. And then, we just, I make sure that I have my marketing plan. Every promoter has to provide a marketing plan, has to provide their localized artwork. Like, we'll give them the shell, they have to localize it. So again, it's a lot of detail, it's a lot of organization. It's providing social copy that it feels authentic, so nobody, everyone's not doing their own thing, and it sounds true to the artist. And again, some artists are more hands-on than others. There's management teams that, want to have a hand in everything. They want to approve marketing plans. They want to approve, and there's other artist management teams that are just like, we trust you. This is what, that's why we're partners. So it just really depends. But
how involved is, let's say, like a Live Nation in it? Are they just booking it, or
No.
Are they who negotiates?
They're our partners.
They're your partners. So
yeah.
Who negotiates the contract with the stadium?
Agent.
The agent.
Well, the agent with the promoter, if there's a tour deal.
Got it.
And then the promoter, will work with the different venues and just, make sure there's, a lot of numbers that have to like make sense, and again, just different places that they want to go to. And so that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. It's a different job. So one random thing I was thinking is like, why aren't there more events at Lone Depot Park?
I think not every venue is equipped.
It's not a great music
to promote. Like
right.
we've done Romeo Santos there. He's our client.
Yeah.
And it was amazing and it was sold out and it looked great. But I just don't think a lot of venues have that in-house marketing team to like put shows together. I also think the baseball season is very long.
Good point.
So there's not a lot of availability.
Yeah.
So again, it just depends on when the tour's going out.
Yeah.
And if it makes sense.
And if there's it's a summer tour, then you can't do it.
You don't want to be, I mean, with the Lone Depot Center, it's good because they have the retractable roof.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, different factors. But mainly I would say the availability and just, some artists are like, I don't want to perform in a baseball building.
Yeah, I get it. It's not as intimate. What is the craziest request that you've had from an artist at a stadium or
oh my God,
requirements?
I mean, where do I start?
Go.
I mean,
the funniest one, the craziest one.
Changing the toilet seat covers.
What?
Specific pillows that
at the hotel.
Just basically chairs that you're sitting on. Candy colors. Aesthetically, they want them to look a certain way. And then we've given them. Well, this was one of my most embarrassing moments, but it happens, and people are human, and you can't like be a dick. Sorry,
of course, yeah.
So I had a band, and we created jerseys for them, and one of the guys' jerseys, I'm in charge of working with the Heat store to like make sure that the names, whatever, and I spelled the name wrong. So I've made mistakes before, and people have been very gracious and kind about it, but this was not one of those times. Yeah. And he refused to hold up the jersey in the picture. And I'm like, dude, turn it around and put the number 1 or whatever.
Yeah, get over yourself.
So it was just so bad. I was just like, and then Justin Bieber came back.
Yeah.
Or not came back because it wasn't Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber came around like a few months later. And of course, my boss never let me live that down. Like, and so we're going to give him the jersey. We're there with his manager. And then he had the manager in on it, my boss. And he's like, tell her that she spelled it I-E instead of E-I or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know that you spelled Justin's last name wrong. I mean, just the life.
Yeah.
Because at that point, like, listen, guys, we're not curing cancer here, but I don't want to go through this again. Like, I'm like, how did I do this again? Like, really, just fire me, or like, you have signage up and, you wrote the wrong date. It's just a lot.
It's a lot.
And again, like I said, most people are very gracious and very funny and, can laugh about it. And, a couple of others have.
Are a little uptight.
Or don't look an artist straight in the eye. Like, I remember it was like year 1.
Don't look at artists. Yeah. It's so full of.
And this artist is like coming, which I would have never thought was like that, but is coming down the quarter. Mm-hmm. And during our security meeting beforehand, because we have a security meeting, like I would walk media in, like these are the rules for photographers. Sure. And if you're backstage, this is whatever. And they're like, don't like look at him like straight in the eye, just avoid, whatever, like try actually not to even be in the hallway when he's walking. Dude, I was like, doing my job, like, coming in from grabbing something. And all of a sudden I see him coming and I had nowhere to run. And I'm like looking, I literally threw myself in a stairwell. I was like.
It's so ridiculous.
Fuck it.
People are so full of shit.
And I'm like, really guys? Like, again, we're not curing cancer. No one here is like, saving the world. Let's just all like get a grip.
I can't believe Liberace made you do that. But that's okay.
Right? I mean, of all people. But you know what? For the most part, most of them are gracious, are fun.
Yeah.
They appreciate, what you're doing. But it's like everything else.
So how's the industry changed in the last 20 years?
I mean, I think it's just changed so much in the last, like it started, I think, right before the pandemic. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit. And then we have just seen such a shift. Like people can't get enough concerts and they don't care how much it costs.
Dude, so that was going to be my next question. The price for live anything, because sports is also out of control. And first of all, the average fan, I don't know how they do it, but like you cannot take a family and, you go the extreme, Taylor Swift's coming here in a couple of weeks.
Major Swiftie.
She's fantastic. Amazing businesswoman, great artist. But the cost of these tickets are, and they just can't get enough.
And I'm spoiled. So,
right. You have all the hookups.
And I refuse. Like my kids, and they've been blessed and are super appreciative. Like their whole life since they were. I mean, I didn't even have kids when I started working. I was at the arena for almost 19 years.
Right.
And they've gotten to see everyone, and now it's just like, oh, my son wants to see Morgan Wallen. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I like Morgan Wallen. Let's go. And and now it's like people make trips around these shows. Like it's an experience. It's not just like, oh, whenever they come to Miami, we're gonna seek them out and let's go to Ireland to watch them.
Right.
So I think it was I don't know, Tampa. The tickets were $500.
Crazy.
I'm like, no, I'm not paying $500 to go see Morgan Wallen. I'm not paying $500 to see anybody. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We get it, Mom. We get it. I'm like, yeah. Because I'm like, no. Like,
but buddy of mine couldn't use his tickets this weekend for Jane's Addiction. He calls me up. He goes, "You want to go? I'll sell you the tickets." I go, "Yeah, sure." $1,200. I go, "No, I don't like him that much.
No.
Like, I think I've seen him 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm
and listen, there's
pass.
nothing like that's like my favorite. One of my favorite things to do is live events and concerts. Like to me, there's nothing like it. And part of why I do what I do, like I remember going to the arena, like working at the arena, and I would always, walk in media for the first couple of songs that they get to shoot the artist. And, so they're, we're in the barricade and they're facing, the artist, and I would just turn around and like look at the audience. And I kid you not, like up until the 19th year, 18th year that I was there, like I would get goosebumps. And if you don't, you shouldn't be in that industry.
Right.
Because that's why you're doing it, because of the love of music and because you get to put those expressions and smiles on people's faces. Yeah. There's nothing like it. Like,
so that's not me. I go to a concert and I'm already like,
you're annoyed.
Yeah, like where did I park?
Yeah.
When can I get out of here?
Yeah.
I get anxiety.
Well,
It's too much, and I don't know what to do. Like, do I dance? Do I put my hand up in the day? I don't know the lyrics to any songs.
Just stay home and watch a music
like
video.
I like music, but then
no.
I always like once or twice a year I'll buy concert tickets or my wife will want, and I go, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And then the minute I go, oh, what did I sign up for? What is this? And
no, and now like we've gotten really heavy, and by we I mean me and my husband just comes along for the ride because he's my designated driver. Is country music. It's just such a different vibe.
It's booming.
It's incredible how mainstream it has become.
Yeah.
And I can see why. And
it's taken over rock and roll, right?
We go to Key West and we see Old Dominion, and it's just such a chill vibe. Like go see a country music concert and you won't get anxiety. Like
I agree.
We saw it at the Key West Amphitheater. I think it's called Coffee Butler Amphitheater, and it was just a beautiful night. And it's on the water, and you're just like, life is good.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. Music festivals. Do you get involved with like the festival, like the Lollapaloozas of the world and that kind of stuff?
So if we have a client like Carol perform at oh my God,
one of those big festivals.
Yeah, but hello, it'll come to me. We work with the festival, but it's different because they're doing all the marketing. Coachella,
there you go.
They're doing all the marketing in a different way. But the agent is involved in securing, the date for her and working with her management team. So we're a little bit more hands off when it comes to festivals, but I have worked festivals. There's, artists and promoters, that they're like, I need for you to help. And I work with with the festival, make sure that they have the correct artwork, make sure management is in the loop as far as when the timeline is so that they can promote it on the artist social pages. Yeah. So I kind of liaison that way when it's a festival.
To throw a festival like that, what does it cost?
Above my pay grade.
A crazy number.
Yeah.
To get a superstar headliner, top 3 or 4 things, to get somebody down there.
I mean, it's just that now, like a Coachella will have so many like top tier acts.
Killer lineup.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
they fly them in, fly them out.
Yeah.
They probably do it for more the promotion than the actual money.
Sometimes it's around other tour dates.
Right. And they go right in.
And sometimes they have to say no just because it doesn't make sense with whatever routing, whatever tour they're on. They're on the other side of the country. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a science of, how that works.
Nashville's the home to country music. Is Miami the home to reggaeton?
I mean, again, I think it's become so mainstream. Like you have people that don't speak Spanish going to Bad Bunny concerts.
Crazy.
The phenomenon, like I remember back in the day, it was Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
The only person that non-Cuban or Hispanic people knew.
Yeah.
And now it's like, Bad Bunny has become like, I mean,
he's in movies.
Yeah, everywhere.
He's crossed over.
Like we represent them. There's artists we represent only in music touring, and then there's artists we represent what they call 360, which is branding, TV and film, and we have different agents for different things. And everyone wants to work with him. With Carol, they're honestly also such such amazing people to work with, and I can say that firsthand. And again, I've worked the gamut and people who are awful, but they're just when you have people that they get it, and they're hardworking,
good,
and they're humble,
good,
and they know they have to strike while the iron's hot, because
and they're sharp
it may
business
or may
people.
not, and they're very sharp business people, and they surround themselves with like with Carol, her family, and they're an amazing group of people. Like I'm so grateful I get to work with them, because I mean they are like the hardest working people, and they're so smart, and they get it, and they're open to like the best thing you can do is surround yourself with smart people, even so if you don't know something, but you're going to pay attention to somebody else who does.
Sure.
None of us can know everything. So it's great to work with people like that.
It's crazy because I was like, oh man, maybe a couple years back, like, maybe reggaeton's having its moment,
right?
And I'm like, no, it's here to stay. It's part of, like, you go to any bar, restaurant, anywhere in the country, you're going to, in that playlist, there will be Bad Bunny.
Something,
There's gonna be something, yeah.
Young Miko, she's a new up and coming artist, and I was watching her. I was actually in New York last week for work, and I saw 2 of her shows at a theater in Madison Square Garden. Like, what a joy to me, that's not even like my genre of music.
Right.
But, and my assistant was with me, and she's like, oh my God, I wish I could have taken a picture of you. Because I was just staring at the big screen, and I was with a smile on my face, because her energy and the way she connected with her fans.
Really?
It's so important. Back in the day, I don't think fans were that savvy, or fans, I don't know, they didn't care as much, or it was just about the music. But if you're not authentic, it's gonna make a difference whether you make it or break it in this business. And I feel like the more authentic you are, the more transparent you are with your fans, I think they connect with you on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And just the energy those 2 nights, and it was amazing. Like, and she read all their signs, and she interacted with them, and it makes you happy for people like that to see them succeed.
And social media, I think, is that connection, right? Correct. They have that connection, and then like, it's kind of weird because, like,
well, they already feel like they know them.
They feel like you know them, right? Like, every once in a while, Miami, you run into celebrities. So like, I'll be somewhere and I'll see someone that I like, and I'm like, oh, actually, I don't know them. Yeah. I think I know, but I know.
I probably know more than what I should.
Yeah. It's totally silly. It's pretty wild how that, you're right, that 360 of the connection of the actual performance, what they're doing in social.
Yeah. People follow them now. Like, it's not just, what music are you singing? It's like, what do you stand for? Who,
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, who are you as a person? Like, and of course, listen, like everything else, you can't, only listen to people that have the same, but, it makes a difference. Like a Pink, she's so vocal. She's so, she stands her ground. She's such a, a tough, I don't know, in her beliefs, that you have to respect it whether you agree with her or not. And then you see, again, because all the socials, like, I cannot get enough of watching like her behind the scenes stuff, because she's just a freaking workhorse.
Right.
And she's been in this industry for such a long time, and started out that, really nobody respected who she was or what she was doing, and all these years later, she's still selling out stadiums and arenas.
She's bigger than ever.
She has a beautiful marriage. She has 2 kids. Like, nobody thought that for her.
No way.
And
I would have told
proven everybody wrong.
It's crazy. I would have told
and
you
I'm here
she
for
fizzled
it, because
out.
she's one of my like top favorite performers.
Give me your top 3 favorite performers.
Okay, well, I just said Pink, honestly.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, I am like a
you love
50 Swiftie. I am like...
Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
No, for me, I just... I love Beyonce too.
Yeah.
But for me, Taylor Swift...
You're a Swiftie.
Yeah, I'm a Swiftie. Like, her last album, like, people say, oh, it's poppy, it's bubblegum, but her last album is just like poetry in motion. Like, it is just like, ask my kids, they're like, we cannot anymore. Like, what's your playlist at the gym? That's what I'm listening to at the gym. Like, it's just, I don't know. And I just think she's smart and
super smart business lady.
Her parents are there. And again, maybe it's because of my background from the venue standpoint. Like, she came on tour, I want to say 2 or 3 times. And when I tell you, she was probably one of the biggest stars. And, even back then, she could not have been more kind.
Really cool.
To everyone. Yeah. She would like get on her knees to talk to like little 5-year-olds. Her mom was in the audience, like pulling people and getting them better seats. If so it's like when you see these artists acting like dicks.
Yeah.
And they think they have to, like, you don't have to. You don't have to act like that to be like a superstar or to prove that you're a superstar. Yeah. Because most of the people that I've, Ed Sheeran, he's another one, like so gracious, so amazing, and so talented, like. So it's like, once you see that, so to me, I think also, like, I get to see a little bit behind the curtain. So that impacts me on how I like or don't like.
100%. I've had it in the past. Where, like I've met someone I was a fan of or whatever. I was like, that guy was such a dick.
Yeah.
Now I actually hate him.
I know.
On the flip side, other people who I've met or had or I know of people that were great. I'm like, I actually like that.
Yeah. Adele was great. I mean, I love Adele. I love Bruno Mars.
I'm a huge Bruno Mars.
And now this new song he has with Lady Gaga. That's another one that's on repeat. Me and my son are like.
Do we like Travis Kelce with Taylor Swift?
I'm like obsessed and so invested in that relationship.
Okay, are you invested? Because didn't it break today or some story?
Well, it was a fake leak.
It was a fake leak, or was it a real leak?
No, it was a fake leak. I refuse to believe it.
Do you like them together?
Yeah, I think
she's finally happy. She's not going to write a song about him in a couple.
Well, she probably will. It's awesome. If you see her interviews, she's like, guys that are like, okay, now that we're broken up, you're not going to write a song about me, right? And she's like, oh yeah, of course I am.
Yeah, it's another hit.
Listen, whatever. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like we get invested
in these
things.
Down. Enough
but
already.
I feel like, but why? You wouldn't tell a guy settle down already.
But she's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but you know what? Not a lot of guys can put up with that lifestyle, and that's
she's the most famous woman in the world,
and that's a big problem.
It's
and that's
exhausting.
what happens to a lot of these people. Like they can't find somebody to just let their partner, shine and be who they are. And that's why I think this kind of works, because he has obviously his own notoriety.
But he's not even close to as famous.
Not even close, but. He appreciates her. Like you kind of see it. And again, it could be fake. We could all be just talking shit and we have no idea what the hell's going on.
Right.
But from what it looks like on the outside looking in, like they get each other, and she kind of has let her guard down a little bit. I see her like, more playful, not so like serious without her. You hardly ever saw them together. So who knows at the end of the day?
Give me your top two favorite, you can't say them, top two favorite celebrity marriages. You're invested. You're all in on the Travis Kelce.
I love Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
Because they kind of.
I always felt that was arranged. Like I don't know.
But it's been 27 years.
What do you?
And I love them. Like they kind of got married around the same time I did, and then they had their first.
You watched too much Sex in the City.
I love Sex in the City. Of course. And then who else? I don't know.
Who's your go-to? Anybody with J-Lo?
Oh God, poor J-Lo.
Poor J-Lo.
She just wants to find love.
She's got more rings than Michael Jordan. What are you talking
crazy.
about? She just wants to find love. Enough. Stop. Okay, listen. A lot of people don't know this, but you were a stingery Miami High.
I was.
I have a game.
I was a cheerleader.
We know this, and we're going to get into it. A little birdie told me some stories. All right, we're going to do a rapid fire.
That's for the after party podcast.
That's for the after party podcast. All right, we're going to do rapid fire questions. I'll just ask you, and you get to go. Ready?
I'm going to try.
Miami High. I'm going to take you back in time. Who was a better coach? Shaky Rodriguez or Frank Martin?
Shaky Rodriguez. He was my time. That's why probably.
He was your time. Musicians, Stevie B or George LeMond?
Stevie B.
Nightclubs in Miami, Casanovas or La Covacha?
La Covacha, because I was too young to go to Casanovas. Sorry.
Greatest Heat player of all time?
Dwayne Wade, for me.
Best Cuban food in Miami?
Ooh, we just talked about that. It's tough. But I would say
there's no more good Cuban food in Miami.
There's not.
I give up.
Yeah. I will say Havana Harry's.
Havana Harry's is probably my go-to if I had to recommend it to somebody. All right. There's a rumor, and I need you to set the record straight, that at Miami High, you took the SAT for Doug Edwards so he can get into college.
No. He wouldn't have gone to college. I am the worst test taker in the world. So believe me, no one's asking me to take the SATs.
That's maybe why he had to sit out a couple of games. Okay. As a lot of people know, you were a stingery. The rumor has it that your move was the worm.
My move is still the worm.
You're still the worm. Yeah. You still do the worm.
I actually didn't do it in high school, but I do.
You do it now.
Continue to bust it out at a party here and there.
Every once in a while. Okay. Best spot for an Instagram picture in Miami?
I'm stumped. I would say anything with like a water view, but I can't tell you.
It's not Sexy Fish. We've established that.
So over that.
Okay, you're done with that. Okay, Ocean Driver.
It depends on who you ask.
Ocean Driver Calle Ocho.
Oh wow! I mean, I would say Calle Ocho honestly, because it's like Ocean Drive's become so touristy and so just.
They have a Johnny Rockets.
Yeah,
Ocean
I know.
Drive. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Fitness. Is it okay to skip leg day?
No.
It's not. Thank you very much.
Whoosh.
You passed. You did great. Okay, where can people find out about you? Are you big on the social media? All the kids are into it.
I'm big on the social media in my head. Like I'm an influencer in my own head. Yeah, I mean, I'm active in social media just because it's fun. I mean,
fun, yeah.
as long as you know what it is, you know what I mean? Like, don't read too much into it, you know? So yeah, I mean, I like to post. I like to, you know, I love to see people post about their experiences. You know, I'm not a hater. Like I actually see people doing stuff and I'm so happy for them. And, you know, I get tons of recommendations, book recommendations, restaurant recommendations. Like, so I think if we use it for good instead of for evil, I think social media is a good thing.
Some of your artists, tour dates down here in South Florida, what do we got coming up? What's the lineup?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I have so many tours going all over the country. I'm not even lying. Like I just saw.
What about Miami? Down South Florida?
I mean, we have Mike Towers coming. You know, again, I'm going to Nashville next month. I have, you know, Karin Leon, you know, another artist, Jess Glynn. We just represent so many artists around the world that it's just, honestly, don't hold me to a schedule now.
But we got a busy schedule coming up in Miami, right?
We have, but the heat season starting now. So
it's going to screw up everything.
It just, you have to work around it. But, you know, I mean, there's Childish Gambino coming in 2 days, I think.
Where?
I think he's going to Sunrise. Because my kids want to go. That's
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Again, it's crazy how many times I find out about things through my kids.
Through your kids,
believe it or not. It's just a lot. I mean, there's just so many artists touring right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like Carol just toured for a whole year. Like North America, Latin America,
Amazing.
Europe. You know, I mean, she actually surpassed Taylor Swift. She sold 4 Bernabeu's stadiums in Madrid.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
So I mean, people just can't get enough. I just think, you know, there's so much ugliness in the world. I think when you're at a concert and that's your vibe.
People will pay for experiences.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This was fun.
Yeah, you had a good time.
Take care.